What's up, my friends? Welcome to the channel. Just introduced the new projects for the channel, the 450, the 110, and then Jagger's 50 over there in the back. In the last video, I got the oil changed on all three bikes. All three bikes got new air filters, and then all three bikes got hour meters. I do try to keep all of my videos just focused on my projects, but sometimes I come across things that I have a hard time with, and I feel like it would make a very helpful video. To start off, I bought this hitch receiver used off of Marketplace. The brand is Draw-Tite. It is made for the Ford Maverick. However, because I bought it used, the guy gave me the bag of hardware, and when I got home I realized that it was for the wrong vehicle. I did go online, I found some installation instructions for this specific hitch receiver. It actually gave me a part number for just the hardware kit. I actually tried to email them. There was no technical support number for them. However, there was a technical support email address for the parent company. Horizon Global was the name, so I did send them an email, but I never heard anything back. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but a few days later after I sent that email, the installation instructions that I found online were taken down. I could not find them anywhere else. Every time I tried to go back into them, it said the page didn't exist. Luckily, I was able to find a screenshot of the first page of the installation instructions in one of the Maverick forums. Unlike any of the other hitch receivers that I saw, it was very unique hardware. It actually took me a couple of weeks to source everything out. But I was able to get everything, and I was able to get it on the truck with no issues. Stay tuned. The main reason why I needed to get that specific kit is because if you look over here, they actually made this hitch receiver to fit 3 different models. This should actually be flush. It is a 7/8 inch gap. Some of the other brands, Kurt, they all had a flush mount right here. Nothing had to be added. There was no gap. The way that Draw-Tite got around it is on the installation instructions, it tells you to add these 3 little spacers that it gives you. They look similar to this, but 2 of them are a 1/4 inch thick, and then 1 of them is 3/8 inch thick. Could not find anyone to sell me the hardware kit. If you ordered it, it had to come with a new hitch. All of the other hardware I was able to source out. I got the long bolt off of eBay. I got the other bolts off of Amazon, and then I was able to pick up these compression washers off of eBay also. These are specific washers. They are not just regular washers. They're called Bellville. They're actually concave. That way, whenever you tighten them down, they do compress. Hardware kit that the guy gave me off of Marketplace is for a Subaru. Luckily, I can actually use some of these bolts, so these and then 2 of these will be used for the back. These are the wires that you use to feed those through with. And now the main issue, the solution to my gap problem. I was able to have this custom made. I kept the paperwork so I could show you exactly what it is. The guy did make it custom for me. It is this extsw.com. He makes all kinds of spacers. So it's a 1/2 inch inner diameter. It is a 2 inch outer diameter. And then again, it is 7/8 inch thick. Should have no issues getting this thing installed. I should have everything to get it installed. As you can see, there is a few spots that have some rust on it. So what I want to do is knock it down with these wire brushes. And then I've just got some paint to cover it up. I'll get all of these rust spots hit. I'll get all of it knocked off with the wire brushes. I'll get it all painted up, and then I'll work on getting it installed on the truck. All of the rust spots are finished up. All of the rust spots are hit. I hit them with the wire brush, knocked it all off, and then I used some self-etching primer since it was all bare metal. After that, I just hit it with some black paint. That way it just kind of blends in. It's not perfect, but all of this will be hidden underneath the truck. I just want to make sure that none of that rust spreads. I'm just going to let this thing sit out here and dry, and then I'll go inside and start working on getting everything taken off underneath the truck. Coming underneath the truck, the first thing that I'm going to remove is going to be this little splash guard over here. They don't put one on the other side. I'm assuming just because the exhaust is here. Looks like it's just a few bolts right here and then maybe a couple of clips. After that, I'll get the main bolts out. So there's one of them hidden back there, right there. And there's one more right in front of it. And then over here on the other side, here is this one. And then there's that one right there. It does say that you're supposed to remove the exhaust or take the exhaust hanger off here. So I may have to do that. And then the last thing that I should have to remove is going to be this little cover right here. It's got a couple of rivets on the bottom. Usually you just have to drill those out. And then it should just be a few clips up here at the top holding it in. Everything is taken off from underneath the truck. I've got the little side plastic piece over here. It's just a few screws or bolts holding it in, and then you've got one plastic clip up top. This little plastic cover for where the hitch goes through. To take it out, you've got 2 rivets that you have to remove. A pair of dikes or cutters, just use those to cut the tops of it. There's basically 3 little pieces that fold in on each side. You just kind of have to cut away at it. Once you do that, you can use a drill bit. I do have this extractor set. It works much better if you do have one of these. You put the drill on reverse, drill it for just a minute with a little bit of pressure, and then pull out. It usually catches onto that thing and pulls it straight through. Had to use these things a few times now, and they work great. And then the last thing that I did was remove all of the 4 bolts, and these 2 bolts holding the exhaust bracket on. I've got the hitch on the stand over here. It's all dried off. Everything is ready to go. I've got all of my new hardware down here. I am going to be doing this by myself, so I did go ahead and get the jack out. That should help out some as far as just lifting this thing up. Should be able to get the first couple of bolts on, get these ones in the back on too. Hitch receiver is fully installed. As you can see here, I made a little bit of a mistake. All of the other hitch receivers that I saw came out right here. They actually had you cut a little square out so that it could stick through. I guess this brand kind of eliminated that aspect and just dropped it down a little bit lower. I kind of do wish it did sit up a little bit higher. It would give me just a little bit more clearance, but no big deal. And that just means I don't have to cut that little square out. I can just put that plate back in there. As far as getting the hitch on by myself, I just used a jack, and then Jagger was able to help me a little bit on the other side over there. I was able to hold this side up for the most part with the jack, and then I was able to muscle it up over here, get the first bolt in. From there, I got the first bolt in on this side. After that, got the other 2 bolts in, got the 2 nuts on the back bolts dropping through. For these bolts that have to slide through, you saw I did have to Dremel the edges. The head of the bolt was just a little bit too wide. Just a few minutes drilling each side, it made it wide enough, it fit perfectly up in there. This one, like I said, has the spacer up top. Spacer worked out great, everything worked out great, everything lined up perfectly. I'm just gonna get the exhaust bracket connected back on. I will get this little plate connected back on there. And then for the side piece over here, I am gonna have to cut a little bit out so that it fits. And then I'll get that one back on there too, and this thing should be completely done. Hitch is fully installed. Everything is all put back on. Everything's put back together. Exhaust over here. I did not realize it, but you do actually have to take the bracket off of the little exhaust hanger there. Just remove it from that rubber bushing, and then once you bolt the bracket in up top, it just slides down through the center there, and you can slide it back onto that bushing. If you have trouble getting that exhaust hanger off of that bushing, a little bit of grease or Vaseline, some kind of lubricant will help. I was able to put this thing back in, no problem. Luckily for me, I had the exact same type of rivets. The only problem was the material wasn't thick enough for it to actually break that piece off. I just used some cutters, cut them off, and then pulled the top piece out. That worked out perfect though. For this side piece over here, for the other brand hitches that actually sit up higher that don't come down as low, I don't think you have to trim the bottom area right here. This doesn't fall that far down. For mine, you do have to completely trim off the one mounting point that has the screw or bolt going up right here. It's all held on by these three and then the ones in the back, so it's not wiggling or anything like that. You come down, trim over on the bottom, come up, and then you can see where I just wrapped it around the top there. Very happy to have this thing on there. Very happy that I was able to source out all of the hardware to do this correctly. These things after taxes are a little less than 300 bucks online. All in all, I think I'm 140 into it. Hitch receiver was only 70 bucks. We now have something to pull a trailer with so we can take all the bikes at once. I do still need to get a wiring harness for this thing, but that'll be for another video. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it helped you out at all, please hit that like button. If you want to catch anything else going on with the channel, with the bikes, please hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.